Okay, go live. Okay, am I? Okay, I'm live. So, we just got through talking about Dred Scott. Do we have anything else? And as you can see, it's a different angle because, yeah, my phone is uploading the other part.
I was going to ask, so I was reading in the PowerPoint, and it had Clark Walker under the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need to, like, I kind of asked the question.
Wait, what do you mean that it had under the Fugitive Slave Act of
It
1793?
just says Fugitive Slave Act of 1793, and then it has a Clark Walker case under it, and that's it on the PowerPoint. And I didn't know if that meant, like, okay, so the Clark Walker case.
Well, you know it is. I don't know. I mean, I can check that slide, but Clark Walker deals with what law? Clark Walker deals with the Massachusetts Constitution of 1780.
Yeah, because of the move that.
The only thing we talk about when we talk about the Fugitive Slave Law of 1793 is just what it is. Because not even, well,
That's what I saw, that's why I was like, so do I need to relate that to that one, or or relate it to the
Act 1793. No, it was supposed to say, the top was supposed to say, so on the slides on AAS 3348, week 2, that's slide number 7, it says Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 at the top, but it should say Clark Walker versus Jennison. It's just the incorrect title. Because everything else is Clark Walker's facts, the case analysis, and everything. Okay, you asked about Missouri Compromise.
Yes, I want to get in depth.
I wish this was a whiteboard because then I can draw it. Okay.
I want to get in depth in the Missouri Compromise.
But I can use it like this.
What's that? 3069.
So this is a 3630 parallel,
Yeah.
right? And this is Missouri, like just kind of coming over it. This is the south of the United States, that's the north. And I'm only using this because this is a line, and that is actual south, and that is actual north. What the Missouri Compromise stated, Missouri Compromise 1820, I use the year only so I can keep track chronologically of things. But what Missouri Compromise stated is that there shall be no slavery over this line. Well, it's gonna be a line like that, but there should be no slavery over this line. So that's the first thing it did. It limited where slavery could be. Regardless if you became a state, regardless if you were a territory, Congress said, we're not having any slavery north of the 3630 parallel. That's number 1. Number 2, Congress admitted a state as a slave state, and it admitted a state as a free state, thereby bringing the total to 13 slave and 13 free states. The state that it admitted as a free state was the state of Maine, all the way in the corner. Remember that because it's going to be a trick question. Meaning that I'll probably say it admitted Missouri as a free state and Wisconsin as a slave state. So just know the states that it admitted as free and slave. Maine is free, Missouri is slave.
Okay. So this is, on the PowerPoint, it says the slave states and free slaves to 1212.
1212. Okay. I'm uploading the first video.
Do we know the consequences of the Missouri Compromise as well?
What are the consequences of the Missouri Compromise?
That it was declared unconstitutional, which ruled that Congress did not have the authority to prohibit slavery in the territory.
Yep. Your colleague asked, do you need to know the consequences of the Missouri Compromise? Meaning, what happened to the Missouri Compromise after Dred Scott was declared unconstitutional? Well, what happened to the Missouri Compromise? Well, first of all, the Missouri Compromise was sort of invalidated by the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1954. 1854. And the reason why is Missouri Compromise is telling you that this is a line. There's no slavery under it. I mean, there's slavery under it, but not above it, whether you are a territory or a state. What Kansas and Nebraska Act is saying is, you know what, territory, when you become a state, we have decided that you and your people can choose whether you become a slave or if you want to remain free. So what that did was it conflicted with the Missouri Compromise. Missouri Compromise said no slavery, if, ands, or buts. 1 second. This is Attorney Aaron Putman. Yes, I'm actually in a meeting right now. Are you on your way here? Okay, good. All right, thank you. Okay, so what I was saying about Missouri Compromise and the Kansas-Nebraska Act is those two principles contradict. Missouri Compromise says no slavery above this imaginary line, no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if you're a territory, I don't care if you're a state, no slavery above this line. Now, obviously, you know that this is 1820 when Missouri Compromise came out. We don't have all 50 states yet. So there was going to be places where we were going to create states out of territories. 34 years later, in the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, they realized that not everybody's going to be a part of this no slavery over the 3630 parallel rule who are in the North. So they said, hey guys, when you become a state, then you can decide if you want to have slavery there or not. Okay? So what Dred Scott said was, Dred Scott did a number of things. Dred Scott said persons of African descent will never become citizens of the United States. And oh yeah, by the way, that Missouri Compromise y'all made 30 years ago, we're going to overturn it. We expressly overturn it. Kansas-Nebraska Act, which was 3 years before the Dred Scott decision, it overturned it in practice, but the Dred Scott decision effectively overturned it. They expressly overturned it.
You also need to see the importance of the Mayberry versus Madison.
No, you don't have to know about Marbury versus Madison. It would have been fun though, because it just talks about congressional powers and, you know, overstepping your bounds, but we don't have to talk about it.
Right, and we don't even know the Judiciary Act of 1789.
No, that goes with Marbury versus Madison. That would have been fun to talk about as well. But I know that students, you know, they hear those things, they learned them in school at one point in time, and mostly everybody just want to get to this stuff. They want to get to voting rights and affirmative action and et cetera, but I need y'all to understand how, you know, to construct these laws first and how where they come from. So I just try to spend a little bit of time on chronological events, but I still talk about them. I mean, we used to go into the Lincoln-Douglas debates. We used to go into Lincoln's first address, but that's when I taught a full course 2 days a week. There's just not enough time. I would say tell them to give me more than one section and I'll do it, but I don't have time to teach more than one section.
Quick question.
Yes.
So it's the order of the cases is Monbet, Clark Walker, then Somerset?
Let me confirm, because I never yell out the year for Somerset.
The Somerset used Monbet as a precedent?
No, Somerset was first, 1772. But Somerset is not a case that that uses Monbet or use Clark Walker to come to their decision, or vice versa, because they were decided after. But Monbet was just a case showing that a person, well, first of all, that just because that person had escaped, if a country laws does not recognize slavery, they don't have to be returned to slavery, which is what Somerset was about. Like, look, I know that you are doing slavery in America, but our laws don't recognize that over here in the UK or London. I don't have all these highlighters. Any other questions?
Can I have one?
Not a highlighter? Like to just have?
Yeah.
You need a highlighter?
I need one, yeah. Not even.
Hey, I mean, throw it on the wall, see what stick. I'm managing. You're a student, I understand how it is about highlighters.
Talk about the personal liberty laws and like the.
Right, well, I'll give you, so personal liberty laws is more so of a concept, because every region, every state had their own type of way that they dealt with, helping slaves out. Some people, these laws were enacted to pretty much circumvent what slavery was doing, which is you have people who were living as free black people who were eventually captured and put into slavery, i.e. Solomon Northup. And so what personal liberty law said is you just can't do that. You just can't have an agent or attorney go before a magistrate with this alleged escape person and give your oral testimony or your affidavit, and that person is returned to you. We're going to say that this person has to come to court, or if you take this person, you can't beat them when you take them. So it just added greater restrictions to the fugitive slave law.
I think all the questions are answered. I really don't have to study.
You said you don't have to study now?
Yeah, I'm good.
I was like, you should.
I mean, I will review, but I don't have to because this is the time I always spend too.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, like, it is a good idea to know, even if you have your notes, it's a good idea to know the general understanding of it. Like,
Yeah.
you can spend your time you can spend literally all class trying to understand it. So it's 20 questions, and you have, almost 90 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's 4.5 minutes per question.
So,
But if you don't understand, like the general, so we talked about Fugitive Slave Act, law, clause. Like, let's just say that there was one question on that. We probably spent 10 minutes talking about it, So, and just to get an understanding of it.
This really helped, at least with my understanding, because everything is like, I know.
I'll probably do this for all, because we have this one, we have the midterm, and we have the final exam. I've never done this at my office before, and I've never done it teaching a hybrid course. I do the final exam review party at Pink's Pizza, but I'll try to do this for the midterm as well, just to get y'all open to doing it, especially because I know the grades that are going to come back. I'm not saying it in a cocky way. I just, I know the grades.
can you give us a breakdown of like 5 true and false and 10 multiple choice or something like that?
I usually have just 5 true and false and 15 multiple choice.
Because
And one of the true and false asks you the question about when the slaves came to America. How many? It's not how many, but it's because I always forget the number. But it's 19 slaves came to America in 1619, Jamestown, Virginia. True or false? It's gonna be a question like that.
I'm just testing.
Maine was admitted as a free state. Mississippi was admitted as a slave state. True or false? With the Missouri Compromise. Just things like that. Mm-hmm.
But 5 true and false.
5 true and false.
And
15 multiple choice. Multiple choice will cover Dred Scott, which I gave you one of the questions. I gave you one of the answers to Dred Scott, which is focusing on his citizenship.
Right.
I don't care. Well, I do care that you know that he wasn't free by the fugitive slave clause. The court don't even get to that. They say before we even get to that, can you even be here, Mr. Scott? No, you can't. And we have never, in the history of the United States, or in the history of the world, thought that slaves were citizens. They go as far as when they talk about the Declaration of Independence, that even though it says that all men are created equal,
We're talking about you.
we were talking about you. They said something to the effect of, how could you think that these esteemed white men would consider including you in the description of all men are created equal?
And they're esteemed and they know. So
Exactly.
if they wanted to include, they would have.
Mhm.
They chose not to.
They would have treated you as such. They would not have limited your your civil liberties. So,
And something else about them having slaves themselves, so I already knew
pretty much.
what it was. So
All men, including my slaves, are
they
created equal.
knew they wanted to include, they would have. 'Cause
Mhm.
They would not give you uniformity.
So, any other questions?
No, this has been great.
You're more than welcome. Y'all go on the exam board. Thank you, Brandon, for hosting and the students that came by today. I wish y'all the best of luck. Your exam will be posted at 2:30 tomorrow. It'll be open
It always goes by so fast.